Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our midday briefing. A short announcement before going into your questions. As you know, President von der Leyen is in London today, where she will be meeting Prime Minister Starmer and taking part in the summit on the future of energy security organised by International Energy Agency and hosted by the United Kingdom. This will be an opportunity to discuss EU-UK cooperation on global challenges, bilateral relations and the preparations for the upcoming EU-UK summit currently planned for the second half of May. At today's summit, President von der Leyen will deliver a speech on Europe's efforts to advance reliable, affordable and sustainable energy, as well as the importance of international partnerships in achieving these goals. I would like to invite you to follow the President's speech live on EBS, starting at approximately 3:10 London time. That's 4:10 here in Brussels. And with this, we may move on to your questions. Yes, Christian.
Thanks, Paula. Christian Anner with ENS Europe. I have a question on yesterday's von der Leyen's call yesterday on COP30, where the deadline for submitting national determined contributions was discussed. Did the President make any commitments or assurances that the EU will present its NDC by September this year? And a second question, if I may as well, related to that. You have repeatedly said that the 2040 target, a proposal will come before summer. But given the tight timeline, and that the NDC will be based on this 2040 target, given the tight timeline, can you clarify whether you're counting on a political agreement on the 2040 target before September, or are you basing the NDC on your own proposal for the 2040 target?
Can ask Anna Kaiser to confirm that we're working towards delivering on time on our commitments. Anna Kaiser, thank you.
Okay. So, yes, what I can confirm is that we continue working intensely towards presenting a climate law, which is the first step on this exercise that you mentioned regarding the NDC. So first is that we make a legislative proposal to amend the EU climate law, and we will include the 2040 emission reduction target in that. And then, once this is agreed, the 2040 target will inform the decision on our next NDC, which will cover both the 2040, because this is our internal system in the EU, we do this for every 10 years, and a figure for 2035, which is part of the 5-year Paris Agreement cycle for NDC updates. And to repeat what we have had this conversation earlier, we will aim to submit our next NDC in good time, well ahead of COP30, and this is something that Commissioner Hoekstra mentioned when he was visiting Brazil a couple of weeks ago, and then this is a message that we have been passing constantly and repeatedly, that it is our aim to make this presentation, this submission of our next NDC in good time ahead of COP. I do not have further details on the timeline as of yet. As Commissioner Hoekstra has said, the first step is the 2040 climate law, which will be presented before summer.
Yes, Christian, a follow-up?
Thanks, Paula. So you said once agreed for the 2040 target, that the NDC will come once agreed. Does that mean that you're counting on the co-legislator to agree on the 2040 target before presenting the NDC? And just repeating my question on yesterday's call, can you say anything whether President von der Leyen made any assurances that the NDC will be coming before September?
On the timing and on the order of things, let's take one step at a time. The first step is to present the 2040 climate law, and this is what we're working towards, and then we'll take the next steps from there on.
And with regard to the call yesterday, I'm not aware to what extent this has been discussed in more depth, but we can confirm that we abide by our international commitments, as also just reiterated by Anna Kaiser. Any other question to Anna Kaiser? No? Good. Then we can move on. You had a question here.
Thank you, Mathieu for Politico. Yesterday you shared a statement saying, and I quote, "The Commission shall not meet with any lobby groups and or trade associations that represent Huawei's interest and or speak on its behalf." And that would include any intermediaries acting on Huawei's behalf who would engage in meetings and other contacts with the Commission staff to advance the interests of the company. Sorry for the long quote. But can you please clarify why exactly you draw the line? Because this would have far-reaching implications considering that the number of large and small organizations that Huawei is a member of. So are consultancies, standardization organization, law firm, for instance, affected as well? I've got a couple more questions about this. Earlier today I was told actually that the Commission wouldn't meet with organizations that advance the interests of the company specifically and would evaluate that on an ad hoc basis for umbrella lobby organization. My question is, how can the Commission determine whether a meeting with a lobby group is designed to advance the interests of Huawei in particular? One more question, practical. EVP Räikkönen was supposed to meet with ECTA today, which Huawei is a member of. So I'm just wondering, and the meeting was cancelled, sorry. So I'm just wondering whether this is related to the new policy. Thank you very much.
Good. And this is for Olaf. Thank you.
Thanks for your questions. On the last one, I don't know. I'll have to check that it was cancelled, yes. I'm told, and we'll, if you need more information, we can come back to you on that. For everything else, look, we've made very clear that Huawei representatives can no longer access Commission officials. They can't enter the building. It is not practical or possible to prevent, umbrella organisations that could have hundreds of members, and many of them do, to say, none of you can enter the Commission anymore. So, there are smart people here in the European Commission who have the ability to understand whether a particular issue being on the agenda with a particular umbrella organisation relates to issues that are of interest to Huawei or not. And that's why we're doing it. So we're doing it on an ad hoc basis, and if there's any hint that agenda points of any meetings go in the wrong direction, then we put a stop to it. It's as simple as that. So we're making sure that we have a kind of a protected space, but we're not going to stop umbrella organisations from doing their important work meeting the European Commission. So we look at each case on an ad hoc basis, and where we see that there's no issue, the meeting proceeds. Where we see that there is an issue, we look into it in further detail and, as necessary, put a stop to it.
That is it. Thank you. Any other question to Olaf? Yes, Jorge.
Hello. Yes, I think it's for Olaf because it relates to trade and investment. Yesterday we heard that the European Parliament and China are in final stages to remove the sanctions that Beijing imposed on 5 MEPs in 2021. Obviously, I remember that the Commission criticized this decision back then. The sanctions led to the collapse of the investment deal between China and the European Union. Do you see any chance that this investment deal could be recovered or put on the table again, or do you think the text is completely obsolete and cannot really be brought back in any form? Thank you.
Yes, indeed. For Olaf, as far as I know, we don't have the formal confirmation that the sanctions have been lifted, but Olaf, you can tell us more.
That's precisely right. We don't have the formal confirmation, so we're not going to speculate about what may or may not happen beyond that at this point.
Yes, Jorge, a follow-up.
Yes, but beyond the confirmation or not of the sanctions, do you think this text, because it was signed, let's say, in a previous time, before many things happened in Europe and around the world, do you think this text is still up to date, fit for purpose, or do you see it as obsolete? Thank you.
Nice try, Jorge, but we're not going to go there.
We'll cross that bridge when we're that far. Good. Any other question to Olaf? No. Other topics of interest for today? Yes, please.
Thank you. Vibor Vlajnić, Croatian Radio Television. So, a question maybe for Toma. I would like to kind of ask for some clarifications about the details of the upcoming EU-UK summit on the 19th of May, regarding especially the potential defense deal.
Well, on this one, as I mentioned at the very beginning, the President is meeting Prime Minister Starmer today, also in a bilateral setting, in a bilateral meeting, and the objective of that bilateral meeting is, among other, to also prepare the ground for the summit in May. This is very much unique in the past years. So, of course, all the preparatory work is being done, including at highest level. And that's as much as we can say for the moment. But, of course, today's meeting will be part of the preparation of the summit later in London in May. Yes? Yeah, Vitaly.
Thank you, Vitaly Sizov, UATV. Do you have some reaction on the attack on Kiev? I see reaction of Kallas. And should Ukraine make compromises in Russia's peace talks? Because President of Poland, he thinks so and give such kind of commentary. Thank you.
Yes, and Guillaume will take up this question today for Anita, following yesterday's developments on this subject.
Are you?
Yes, Vitaly is there.
Sorry. Hi. As you said, the HRPP has just published a social media post on the latest developments in Ukraine. What I can add is Russia continues its indiscriminate attacks on Ukraine. We have seen the brutal attack by Russia on Kiev and other cities last night. This has been one of the deadliest with reported 9 civilians killed and over 70 injured. Russia is speaking a language of violence and terror, not peace. Regarding your second questions on possible concessions, we have already explained yesterday our position on the peace talks, but I'm happy to reiterate what we have said. Our position is really clear here. Ukraine is the one to decide on the actual conditions when it comes to peace, and nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and nothing about the EU without the EU. And upholding Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity is crucial.
Absolutely, and we reiterate those principles also under the current circumstances and developments. Any other question to Guillaume with his various hats today? Yes, please.
Finlay Duncan from DW. It's not on Ukraine but foreign affairs. On the situation in Kashmir, we've seen the President's tweet about it, but how concerned is the Commission about a potential escalation in the region?
Yes.
Yeah. Indeed. As you said, the President has tweeted has published a social media post on the situation. What I can add is the EU has consistently underlined the need for a peaceful solution to the situation rooted in the dialogue and engagement.
Still to Guillaume? Yes, Jorge.
Yes, it's on Ukraine. We saw yesterday, obviously, the furious reaction from President Trump, another attack against Volodymyr Zelensky. Do you think at this stage, because I know that the Commission supports the efforts of the United States to reach a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, but do you think that the position of the United States is currently balanced between the two sides, or do you see it excessively in favor of Russia and against Ukraine? Thank you.
not go into whether the position of the US is balanced or not. What we reiterate is the principles by which we believe that any ceasefire needs to come into place, and that is the agreement of Ukraine, that is the territorial sovereignty of Ukraine and its borders. And these are the principles that we continue to reiterate and call for, also under the current developments and circumstances. Yes.
Thank you very much, Silvia Yusuf from El País. Besides reiterating the position, is there any chance or is there any moment you think that this message might be delivered directly to the White House? I mean, there are several meetings in the next days, several points, also Rome, where everybody will be there. Do you think there's a possibility to talk directly to the United States, to Donald Trump?
We're looking into possibilities to meet. As you know, nothing is confirmed for the moment, so we don't have a confirmed meeting at this stage. But we'll keep you posted if that should be the case in the coming days. Yes.
Thank you, Brahim Marad, AG News Agency, Italy. That means that you are trying to meet President Trump in Rome, or are there any contacts for the meeting? Thank you.
The objective in Rome is really the morning of Pope Francis. That is the main objective of President von der Leyen's attendance in Rome. If other opportunities arise in the context, in the margins of the funeral, then they will be, of course, seized. But the main objective is obviously the participation of the President at the funeral of Pope Francis. Any other questions? Yes, Anna?
Thank you. I have seen that, of course, that Madam President is going to Vatican for the funeral. And in this regard, I have a question on human rights, because what are the specific actions of the European Union to defend Christians in Nigeria? Because in this century, 62,000 Christians in Nigeria were victims of different kind of group of political extremists and religious extremists. So my question is, because Madam President will be there, would she undertake any steps to defend Christians in Nigeria, because they are suffering there the most, and also worldwide?
Yes. EU and the European Commission and President von der Leyen stands by the defence of human rights across the world, and inclusiveness and the right for free expression of religion, whatever the religion may be, and therefore supports the non-discrimination, the acceptance and inclusiveness of freedom of religion across the world, and not just in Nigeria, but wherever this is at stake. Yes.
But are Christians a matter of a special concern of Madam President, because they are the most persecuted religious minority, because now in the world they are the most persecuted, so if she would pay special attention to them?
As you know, there are colleagues in the Commission working precisely on the defence of freedom of religion, whatever that religion may be, and we have several which in different contexts are being discriminated against across the world, and this is something for which the President stands for, the expression of freedom of religion, whatever that religion may be. Other questions? No. On a different, I see online, so not clear to me whether they will still be for Guillaume. Can you put down your hand in case it's not Guillaume? Good. Then I have Augustin Palokai.
Yes, it is for Guillaume. Thank you very much. I have a question on Kosovo. Wanted to know if EU is following developments in Kosovo Parliament, failure for the fourth time to constitute the Parliament, which as a consequence has non-creation of the new government. Is this affecting relations of European Union with Kosovo, be it dialogue or some other issues in relations of EU with Kosovo? And I have a second question not related to that, maybe for both of you. President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, confirmed that he is going to Moscow on the 9th of May. We heard the warnings or suggestions by High Representative that candidate countries should not participate in that event. So I was wondering whether High Representative Kallas was speaking on behalf of entire Commission, and what's opinion of President von der Leyen on this, and what will be consequences of this participation of the head of state of Serbia in this event for their relations with European Union, or is just a statement that will have no consequences? Thank you.
Yeah. Would you like to start, Guillaume?
Yeah. So on Kosovo, I would, will not comment on the internal affairs and domestic affairs in Kosovo like we do for any other partner countries. What I can say, indeed, it is in Kosovo's interest to swiftly forms in institutions. It is very important in terms of achieving also the EU reforms and moving forward on this path. It is also important on other issues such as the growth plan. As you know, we need Kosovo Parliament to be established in order to continue the work on this path as well. So this is what I can say at this stage on Kosovo. On your second question, only quickly give me up.
Yes, well, there, I can already come in, and Guillaume, you may then complement if necessary. Indeed, we have been clear with not only the member states, but also our partners, and including candidate countries such as Serbia, that relations with Russia cannot be seen as business as usual with President Putin's regime, and in the current circumstances against the unprovoked and unjustified war of aggression against Ukraine. Anything else there, Guillaume?
What I can add is indeed, as I mentioned last week, precisely on this issue, that Serbia has applied and is negotiating for its membership to the EU, and the EU wants to count on Serbia as a reliable European partner for common principles, values, and security and prosperity, and we need Serbia to reassure of its strategic direction. So the EU has been crystal clear with our partners, including candidate countries such as Serbia, as we just mentioned. Relations with Russia cannot be business as usual.
Good. Yeah.
Follow up on that question regarding Serbia and Russia. So this is the second time this topic has been opened here at the midday press briefing. And like the first time, we don't hear any consequences that, concrete consequences that Serbia could face because of Vučić's visit to Moscow. So if I am getting it right, Serbia will be off the hook because of that. So no consequences.
We are not saying that there won't be any consequences. It's too early to prejudge. We not speculate, as you know, and we're talking about an event taking place on the 9th of May, so it's early to tell at this stage.
Yes, Carl.
Yeah, on the same topic. It's not only about candidate countries. Last time I checked, Prime Minister Fico also has indicated that he wants to attend the event on May 9 in Moscow. So is the Commission in talks with the Slovakian authorities about this?
Yes, indeed. It's not just about candidate countries, even more so about EU member states. And we see, of course, this celebration on the 9th of May as part of Russia's propaganda and an attempt to justify its invasion of Ukraine, and therefore we defend that we should refrain from giving legitimacy in any way to this war, and in refraining from attending the 9th of May celebrations in Moscow. And that's a position which was agreed also by member states in 2022 in relation to overall to events of this sort taking place in Russia. Any other question? Then I have one online from David.
Yes, thank you. David Carretta, Radio Radicale. Two questions, one for you, Paola. Since we were told that there was no request from your side to meet President Trump in Rome Saturday, I'm wondering if now it's different, if there is a request by the President of the Commission to meet the President of the United States, because for me it's not clear from your answer. Second question is on foreign policy and Tunisia. In fact, it's foreign policy and also internal affairs. After the condemnation by a court of several opposition leader personalities and so on, I'm wondering what is your reaction, and would you maintain that Tunisia is a safe country of origin in terms of migration? Thank you.
We start with the Tunisia.
Thank you, David, for the question. What I can say on Tunisia is that the EU follows the situation in Tunisia closely. The EU takes note of the heavy verdicts as pronounced by the Tunisian court, also involving EU citizens, and reported controversies around the judicial process. The EU regularly recalls the importance of freedom of expression, respect for the right of fair trial, and due process requirements in exchanges with the Tunisian authorities. The rule of law, human rights, and fundamental freedoms are respected under the Tunisian constitution and form the basis of a partnership as enshrined in the association agreement.
And on your first question, David, as mentioned before, the main objective, obviously, of President von der Leyen's participation and presence in Rome on Saturday is to attend the funeral. We cannot exclude that there may be opportunities for short bilateral meetings. For the moment, there's not more that we can say about that. But we will keep you posted should it change. Tommaso, also online.
Oui, bonjour, Thomas Galavato de l'agence de presse ADN Kronos, agence de presse italienne. C'est une question sur la défense, parce que hier, la commission Juri du Parlement européen a approuvé l'avis du service juridique selon lequel la proposition SAFE aurait une base juridique inappropriée, l'article 122, au moins pour une part de la proposition. Et je voudrais savoir comment la Commission veut procéder. Et si vous avez intention de modifier la proposition, peut-être en la divisant en deux parts, comment suggérer les experts du Parlement, ou si vous avez l'intention de procéder sans amendement. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Oui, Thomas.
Bonjour Tommaso, nous sommes bien entendu au courant également de ce qui a été rapporté dans la presse. Je ne ferai pas de commentaires là-dessus. Permettez-moi juste de rappeler de manière plus globale qu'aujourd'hui, effectivement, nous avons un risque pour notre sécurité qui est réel. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle la Commission a effectivement proposé ce nouvel instrument pour la défense, SAFE, qui permettra justement aux États membres de faire des achats conjoints en matière de défense. Cet instrument, effectivement, est établi sur l'article 122. Permets-moi de te rappeler effectivement que dans les lignes directrices et les lignes politiques de la présidente a rappelé que l'article 122 ne serait utilisé que dans des circonstances exceptionnelles, comme celles que nous sommes en train de vivre. Dans le mandat précédent, cet article 122 a effectivement déjà été activé, également pour des circonstances exceptionnelles. Laisse-moi te rappeler la pandémie, le Covid, ou encore la période des prix du gaz, où cet instrument avait été activé. Voilà, la Commission reste bien entendu sur sa proposition qui a été tablée. Aujourd'hui, c'est aux États membres de se mettre d'accord et je pense que la Commission a toujours été d'ailleurs disposée, également vis-à-vis du Parlement, à expliquer ses choix. Je viens de te le faire ici, mais nous sommes bien entendu prêts à le faire aussi auprès des autres institutions.
Merci Thomas. Yes, Carl. Question to Thomas? Good.
Oui, ce matin, les commissions de l'industrie et de la sécurité et défense du Parlement européen ont voté sur le programme EDIP, qui prévoit des conditions d'éligibilité avec une préférence européenne, donc 70% de composants européens. Est-ce que la Commission, quelle est la réaction de la Commission à cette adoption? Et maintenant, la question qui se pose, c'est l'inclusion du potentiel du Royaume-Uni dans ce programme. Est-ce que la Commission a envoyé des propositions aux États membres et au Parlement sur ce sujet? Et est-ce que la présidente compte en parler avec M. Starmer aujourd'hui?
Sur la première partie de la réponse, je laisse la deuxième partie à Paola. Je n'ai pas de commentaires spécifiques à faire sur ce qui se passe actuellement au Parlement ou au Conseil sur une proposition. Je peux te rappeler, effectivement, je viens d'en parler dans la réponse précédente et de SAFE, que la proposition que nous avons faite, il y a une clause, effectivement, d'achat européen qui est fixée à 65%. Je me permets également de rappeler dans ce contexte-là que le Royaume-Uni peut d'ores et déjà participer à hauteur de 35% à ce programme-là lorsqu'il sera effectivement mis en place. Après, de manière générale, effectivement, nous travaillons étroitement avec des États tiers qui partagent nos visions et qui sont très proches de nous, y compris le Royaume-Uni. Donc, nous travaillons étroitement avec le Royaume-Uni.
Yes, Carl. Donc, pour une participation du Royaume-Uni au SAFE, comme tu le sais, il faut d'abord je ne sais pas si on le dit, un partenariat dédié. Voilà, et donc c'est aussi dans ce sens qu'on est en train de travailler. Et je m'attends à ce que ça soit effectivement discuté entre Madame la Présidente et le Premier ministre aujourd'hui lors de leur bilatéral. Yes.
Antonio Fumagalli for Neue Zürcher Zeitung. I'm sorry to come back to the question that was asked before online by David, but you didn't really answer the question. It's about the visit in Rome. We understand that you take the opportunity, if there is some, to meet Trump, but is there an official request by the European Union to do so, to meet Trump? Is there any official thing that you send now to the White House, or isn't there?
That's really everything I can say about the participation of President von der Leyen on Saturday in Rome. And as said, if we have any further details, we will come back to you and share with you. Jan.
Gian Piscelli, Bloomberg News. Actually, a very similar question, but the other way around. Is there any imminent visit of Commissioner Vikunen, Executive Vice President, to the US, following in the footsteps of other commissioners? And if so, who is she going to meet?
Thomas, are we aware of such plans for the EVP?
So no plans that I can confirm today.
I can just recall that EVP Virkunen is, of course, engaging with her American counterparts, be it via letters that you were yourself referring to, or be it with companies. So the engagement is obviously there, but I cannot confirm a visit today.
I don't see any other questions. There's one there.
Yeah, thank you. Today, South Korea said that DeepSeek is using or transferring public data user without consent. Is the EU looking into that? Thank you.
Thomas, what do we know about this?
Thanks. Yes, we are. We're actively looking also and monitoring developments in the field of AI. Of course, I mean, it's obvious, I will recall it, that the protection of the data of our citizens is, of course, very important to us, and we're front runners in that field. So yes, we're monitoring developments very, very closely.
Okay. Any other questions? No, I don't see online questions either. So I wish you a very good afternoon and thank you for your participation.